The book's name is Saffron Storm. Saba, go ahead. We've been talking about a certain anxiety. That's what the opposition believes that the BJP is feeling. Hence the pivot to Hindu-Muslim. Now the BJP's got a ready-made issue because let's be fair, it is not the Congress manifesto. It is Rahul Gandhi who, in his speech from Telangana, first opens this conversation about a financial survey. Everyone is talking about Sam Petroda, but this conversation is actually started by Rahul Gandhi. Is it helping or hurting the Congress, you think?
I don't think it's hurting them, Barkha, contrary to the media narrative. And to imagine that this kind of rhetoric is not hurting the Prime Minister. You are aware, I mean, I have said this to you before, I have been inundated with requests from foreign media because they see this as some kind of crazy stuff that's going on in India, that the Prime Minister, but I have not participated in those. I don't wish to give those bites right now. If you want to talk about structure of a campaign, Indian elections, I'm ready to do it. Right now, I don't have the time to sit down. You know how time-consuming those things can be. They arrive with a crew and they take up your whole day and so on and so forth. So I don't think it's working well for him, for the Vishwa Guru, to start saying that Muslims are coming and snatching a Mangal Sutra. To start, it's not classy. It's just bad form. You can say that it stokes prejudice which some Indians have in their hearts and minds. Sure, I will say yes, you are right analytically. But it doesn't look good. It's a very...
But Saba, don't you find, can I ask a clarification? Don't you find the conversation has moved away from what the Prime Minister said on Muslims and gone totally into redistribution and wealth and inheritance tax?
So I don't think Rahul Gandhi has nuanced everything correctly. But if you look at the Congress manifesto, and this I know because if you look at in the Tamil Nadu leg, somebody who's very deeply, an important figure, this 1 lakh guarantee. So what the Congress manifesto is about giving money, that 1 lakh promise is a big one as far as they're concerned. That worked as far as they understand it. So it's about giving things away to people. So it is about income redistribution to an extent. Now, whether Rahul Gandhi is the right person to talk about OBC census and all is a different issue. But Mr. Pai is correct. It has been an obsession with him for over a year, that about income guarantees and so on and so forth. And to say that India is not unequal, you've gone through states with a water crisis. Water comes from Adivasi areas and it comes to the city, and they are standing there and begging for water over there. So to imagine that there is not structural inequality and that it has not increased, everything tells us that the number of billionaires has increased. The Forbes list in the Modi era, in the year of COVID, the number of billionaires increased. This is just data, Forbes magazine data. This is hardly a left-wing urban Nakshal data. I'm not even an economist. So I think it's a mistake to imagine that what the traditional television media is saying, because they are only serving the Prime Minister, that somehow you must understand what the Prime Minister has done and said in this round. He may appear to be strong, but by many people's standard is completely way off the charts. You have actually said, you are so confident, you're so successful, you're actually saying that some party is going to come and snatch away people's wealth. And that Muslims, the world's third largest population, has an eye on the Mangal Sutra. Am I wrong in what I'm saying? If I have created a false fact, please correct me. This is what he's saying. He even said Muslim.
Let's take this to Sandeep. As someone who's a qualified supporter of the Prime Minister, do you agree with the rhetoric that the Prime Minister used when he spoke about Muslims, community that wants to have more children? He even used pet, infiltrators, intruders in that speech. And here's the intriguing question. That speech, the EC today has served notices to both the Prime Minister and Rahul Gandhi. I don't think anyone really expects any resolution on that front. That speech is not in the headlines. What's in the headlines is, अरे आपकी संपत्ति लेके किसी और को दे देंगे. They'll take your wealth and give it to someone else. That is what's in the headlines. That speech and its controversy and its tone and tenor has somewhat been forgotten. Though, as I said, the Prime Minister is tripling down. He mentioned Mangal Sutras. This is the third time in his speech today as well. कि वो Mangal Sutra ले लेंगे औरतों का. Sandeep?
So I don't know where to start. I wrote a piece 2 days ago about narratives. Every game has its rules. So there is a different rule for a T20, and then there is for ODIs, and there are test matches. But this is not even a test match or a test series. This is now with 6 weeks of elections, it is like a marathon. So when you're running a marathon, it is the narrative is as much of the game. The narrative keeps changing along the way, and that people, as you are traveling, you would see how the narrative changes as you even move up the thing, and that's something which both sides or all sides, the two national parties really speaking, others would have their local narrative that would have happened. And so that's how the narrative is evolving. We obviously live in a very unequal world, an unfair world, where somebody like Sanjay, who is a so-called suspended member of the Congress party, he is being taken seriously as his comments, and he is the kind of a spokesperson who is really representing Congress. And whereas Mr. Pitroda, who is supposed to be the chairman of Indian Overseas Congress, is now a persona non grata. People are treating him as, he's a family friend and advisor, etc. Though he actually holds an official position, people are disowning him. But it's all part of that whole narrative game, how people are doing. Now, I'm not bothered about whether Mr. Modi wins, if Mr. Modi is becoming popular, unpopular by this, whether he is going to. But what do I react to as a citizen, Barkha? The consistency in Congress's messaging. Today, it is this thing about wealth tax, inheritance tax, etc. Congress has been consistently messaging a very, very ultra-left agenda for a long, long time. Everything they have been doing, the whole stance seems to have changed in the last year and a half. And that's why on your show, our mutual friend Tehseen Poonawala all the time calls about the party being under siege by the left loonies. These are his words, which we have heard several times. That a lot of people feel that is what's happening. So that is the kind of messaging which is going through. Now, Rahul Gandhi may dial down, Sam Pitroda may be put up, but what am I as a voter hearing? I am as a voter hearing that there is going to be a very, very populist term, whether there is inheritance tax or not, but there is very clear messaging that we are going, which I consider retrograde. Okay, I'm not wealthy like Mr. Pai and his friends to really worry about how much tax I have to pay. But I'm really worried, for example, that, okay, I have a single daughter. I've been putting a nest egg aside for so long. Now, if tomorrow there is inheritance tax, what happens to my girl? So that would be my worry. There are a whole series of messages. And where it is going to really hurt is, say, I am sitting in Calcutta. Here, there may be my choice. Whatever you call me a BJP supporter or not, but in Bengal, I may actually would have chosen to vote for a TMC. But today I'd be worried that by voting for TMC, am I going to bring in a government? Because it's very clear, Mr. Gandhi, when he speaks, he doesn't speak of India Alliance. He says, when I come, well, this is my idea, this is my mission, this is this. Am I going to therefore support getting a very Luddite old world?
Well, Sandeep, to briefly ask you, the Congress says it was Jayant Sinha, Mohandas Pai. You just heard Mohan's explanation. Amit Malviya, even, who's now deleted his tweet, that once supported the same inheritance tax. This tweet is now deleted. We
know where
being attacked for.
No, so that doesn't justify. As a citizen. If they say Rahul Gandhi is taken as seriously as Jayant Sinha, who's today out in the wilderness, political wilderness, and Amit Malviya is a party spokesperson. After all, he will do. Today, somebody, I think there's a quote somebody posted wherein this another senior Congress leader has said, I quote from there, which is here, I'm exhausted just defending the manifesto from both insiders and outsiders. This is a quote of a very senior thing in a leading newspaper. So that is the whole situation there. So people have to justify sometimes or defend the indefensible. So therefore, Amit Malviya, nobody takes seriously. The ordinary voter won't. Jayant Sinha, if somebody in Hazaribagh did take him seriously at that point in time, he is nowhere in the scene. Unless you're saying Jayant Sinha of the same stature as Rahul Gandhi. So what Jayant Sinha said 5 years ago, and with due respect, Mr. Mohandas Pai also, is not what Rahul Gandhi...
Sinha was MOS Finance then.
Fine, but then there are Manmohan Singh was the prime minister. But if today Manmohan Singh says something and Rahul Gandhi says something, who does one take seriously? When Manmohan Singh was the prime minister, Mohandas Pai says his paper was stolen. Whom did you take seriously?
Saba wanted to come in. I want to play out two statements, both Jayant Sinha and Sam Pitroda. I want to understand how Mohan's view is different from Sam
till day
Pitroda.
before
Yes,
yesterday. Yeah, till day before yesterday. I just want to point out one on a lighter note. Everyone was taking Manmohan Singh very seriously. They said on that year he said this. So that doesn't hold. That's all I'm saying. So we can keep on excavating and saying they said this. I'm saying look what the Prime Minister of India is saying. Let's talk about that. He's the most. Who is Rahul Gandhi? Who is Manmohan Singh? Prime Minister is Prime Minister, third term, bhai. Unhi ki baat karo. That's all.
Quick comments from Sanjay and Mohan. Then we need to play out some more clips. Sorry, Sandeep is saying something. Can we unmute Sandeep? Sandeep, yeah.
Can I come in?
If you take Prime Minister seriously, we can criticize, agree, disagree with him. We can do that, and which I also do. I have no problem in that. But I wouldn't go and say some BJP saying something and compare that with Rahul Gandhi, unless, which is actually right. Rahul Gandhi is just an MP of the party technically.
Okay, Sanjay Jha and Mohandas Pai. Okay, Sanjay Jha and Mohandas Pai. Yeah,
Barkha, very quickly. Number one, let's not forget, because I don't want anybody of your viewers to forget, the big issue, whether the mainstream media talks about it or not, is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's hate speech. And you mentioned why the headlines have changed. Barkha, you are one of the veterans of television, one of the most respected names. We know that the Prime Minister and Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah can utter anything. It can be absurd, atrocious, preposterous, but the mainstream media will make it a narrative. The opposition, unfortunately, is not on a level playing field. But, Sandeep made a point about left-leaning. I think we need to make a correction here. Sandeep, I don't think you're aware, but Davos, where the most wealthy of the world come together, over the last 7-8 years, since the global backlash happened against globalization, has been talking about inequality. It doesn't make them Marxist. It doesn't make them left-leaning. The second point, that do you, Sandeep, have no discomfort if 1% of Indians, which by the way doesn't include many of us here, owns 22% of India's income and 40% of our wealth? I mean, that should bother you. That should agitate you if you are a truly sensitive Indian. That's a point. And by the way, inequality today is worse than it was during the British Raj.
Yes, Mohan, yeah, Mohan.
Congress wrote a very bad document which consists of minority appeasement, division of this country, giving freebies to everybody without talking about jobs, except the silly 30 lakh jobs in government which don't exist. Modi has taken full advantage of all the utterances, including the silly thing by Rahul Gandhi, and is going to the people and doing. You must credit him with interpreting it correctly for the ordinary people. For the voting tomorrow, day after, and everywhere, what we discuss here doesn't matter. What matters is what 90% of people whom Rahul says he's very fond of think about all these things. And they're very clear in their mind. They don't want anything whereby anybody can take away any of their property, which they work very hard to do. So whatever you talk here doesn't matter. Then you spoke about hate speech. Let me tell you, Modi spoke the truth. And Barkha, I want to speak, things which you may not like. One, in 1947, Muslims were 3 crores, others were 30 crores, India was 33 crores. Today, out of 142 crores, Muslims are about 122 crores, and others are about Muslims are about 22 crores, and others are about 120 crores. They multiply 7 times, others have gone 4 times. We have a population problem. We spoke about it. That is the truth. That is not hate.
I told you the last time.
Let me finish. And now there's a political problem in the south of this country. When the delimitation comes, we are going to lose. Why? Because the fertility is low. We are developed. The north has got more children. The fertility is high. We are going to get less seats. That's going to be a political problem. We can't hide it away. We can't put it away. And second, when he spoke about the Ghose areas or whatever it is, they are infiltrators. They happen in Bengal. In Bengal, we're getting those Bangladeshis come. Mamta is welcoming them, doing everything, calling Hindus kafirs and all that. None of you have the courage to talk about that or abuse her or tell anything. Let us not have differential standards. Let's not have differential standards, Barkha. And let's not say Modi is only hate speech. What about Mamta Banerjee's hate speech? Rahul Gandhi's hate speech in economic matters. Let us face that. When you are Modi haters, like you have 2 people here, they will say everything about Modi is wrong. And please remember, Barkha, 30% of all Modi's benefits are gone to Muslims. There is no discrimination against Muslims in this country. 30% of all benefits are not gone to Muslims during the Congress regime in every year for the last 55 years. Muslims are not benefited at all. In Modi's regime, Muslims have benefited the most because they have become the poorest community in this country because of minority appeasement.